Good morning. So what do we got set up here? We haven't got nothing set up. Got a map out, and that's the mission. The hot dog games. Ben Madison, designer. Well, I just wanted to give a cursory review of this game. I'm not gonna have a playthrough. I'm not even gonna set it up. Just I may do that at a later date, but it's just so much to set up and so much to go through right now. I played this game a couple times. Last night I played from about midnight till about 5:30 a.m. this morning. Right? It's not a short game, especially the campaign game, but it's a good game. So you do have a couple of different setups, right? Two at least. You have the campaign game setup, and you have a scenario setup. The scenario setup is just it really starts at Muslim invasions and when you're pushing them back. The campaign game really kind of is the way to go, in my opinion, because people say, well, it's a States of Siege game. Yeah, it is, but you're still going to have to kind of squint to see the States of Siege there. There's tracks. You can push back hordes, right? Or hordes, whether it's the Turks or the Khazars or the Bulgars or the Saxons or, whoever, Vandals. You can push them back, right? And then later, Muslims are going to come in. You're going to have Persia come. Their religion is going to change. But it's really not States of Siege as you think of it. But it's certainly based on it. You start out, it covers, 1,000 years, a little bit over 1,000 years. It comes from, the ascension of Christ to the First Crusade, right? And you're trying to set up your world here. You're trying to set up Christendom to be prepared to go and take on the Muslims in the First Crusade, right? That's what the whole idea of it is. Wow, gotta say, tell you right off, I do like the game. I haven't mastered it by a long shot, but I do like this game a lot. You start out and you have your apostles here, right? And you're gonna start moving out. He did something similar. And what was that game? That's the game I got. It was a Victory Point game. It was a States of Siege game where you're setting up your Cahokia. No, it wasn't named Cahokia. That was the Mound Builders. Mound Builders. That's what it was. Where you're actually setting up your map for what's going to come later, for the invasions coming later. The pushing back on different tribes, pushing back on you and your tribe, and then the Spanish coming. It's going to push back. That's, the idea that at the first you're setting it up. You call out as the apostles. Let's look at they call it the Acts track. It's really a turn track. You got the apostolic age here. Then you got the age of, I forgot what they call it, the church fathers probably. And you got these different ages and different things is happening, right? And the apostles are just trying to get out here and peaceably spread their religion. Of course, later on, you're going to be Rome. Rome's going to convert to Christianity. You're going to be Rome, and you're going to be in charge of the Roman armies. You can go out on offensives and push the invaders back, the hordes back, right, as Rome. So it's a pretty good game. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of levers. Really easy, simple rules, but there's a lot of chrome in here. A ton of chrome for a game like this. So there's a lot of levers to be pulled. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to be keeping track of, right? And so you got a really good sequence of play chart here, right? Sequence of play chart. And this here, he's done this one other time. No, he did it with Gorbachev. He might have done it more than one other time. They call this the counter tray. All this is you're setting up your counters on here to before setup. Right? This is really good to do. I would highly suggest other people to do this, so you know right where what counters you need are. Also, these are your great theologians here. This is a track here taking care of them. You know, you got Ignatius of Antioch, Tertullian, Origen of Alexandria, Cyprian. You know, really, really cool. All right, really neat. The historical factor, I give that a good 7 out of 10. It's not. It's as historical as it can be at this level, and put in what it does. You know, you have apostle. Mark wasn't an apostle. Barnabas wasn't an apostle. Other things along in here, you know, isn't really truly historical, but they're definitely in the spirit of the historical. And I think at this level, getting it all in there, you have to gerrymander a few things, take a couple of liberties, but it's not way off. The liberties you've taken here aren't way off. They aren't out of bounds completely. You can't go through every stage of the change of the early church, right? You can't do it. It'd be too much. So what he's giving you here is an overview, a strategic level of the spreading of Christianity, and then the Pacific spreading of Christianity, right? They're going to be getting, Rome's going to be persecuting them. That's going to cause them to grow some. The apostles are going to die and leave their bones, and they're going to be relics, and you're going to be able to deal in relics later. You're going to be able to deal. You're going to be persecuting other people that aren't. The other sects of Christianity, if you will. So you're going to turn into the bad guy. Where are you going? Bad guy. Yeah. They're going to turn into Rome. So, and then you're going to start doing some of the same stuff they was doing to you, right? Because you've became a big power. Yeah. It's a good game. Really a good game. Map. This map. Usually White Dog Games maps are kindly. This is a good map for White Dog Games. It's the best map I've ever had from them. Nice, decent, thick map. Large map. Much larger than, usually it's a page and a half. 11 by 17 or something like that, right? It's bigger than that. The counters are the White Dog Game counters. Counters are the typical heavy, thick laser cut counters, right? Rule book. I don't know. Rule book's good. It has everything in there you need to do to get through the game. For some reason, every time I look at a rule book done by Ben Madison, I get the gist of it, but it just doesn't speak to me like some others do. But the blurbs and the designer notes, he always does a great job there, right? You're going to want to read a lot of these blurbs. You're going to read a lot of this historical stuff in these, because it's going to tell you some stuff. Some interesting things, right? And we got that Dark Age collapse. You're going to have a collapse during the Dark Ages. It's going to collapse some things. It's really cool. It's really cool at what level we're at here. Here, I'll show you. So, like I said, you got the Apostolic Age. Then you go from 30 to 60, 61 to 90, 91 to 120 AD. So you're going to see a lot of things change. So we're around 600, 631. You're going to have the rise of Islam here. It's going to completely change things again. Constantine joins the Christians. That's going to completely change things, right? It's just, man, really, really, really good. Really fun, actually. And it's, so do I recommend it? Yeah, I recommend it. It's $42, right? I get the bag version. I have already too many games. And anytime I can save space, I do. The bag version is a little bit more. I guess it's $42. Is it worth $42? Absolutely. Component-wise, components are okay. They're a good map, good, decent component. But the game itself, man, I really enjoy it. Like I said, I've only played it a couple times, so I don't know the game intimately like I want to know it. But it's really, really a good game, really a fun game. And I just wanted to give you a cursory review of it to say, hey, yeah, it's worth your time if you want to pick it up. Definitely worth your time. If you're not into Christian history, would you like it? I would guess you would. If you're into history, you would like to have that. It's a fun game. I've always said, a lot of Christian games aren't fun because they're focusing on a message more than they are a game. Like Christian rock for the most part. Why does it suck? Well, one of the big reasons is it's focusing on a message way before the music, right? But this is focusing on the game. It's focusing on the history. It's focusing on what we love as war gamers. It is interesting that he's using words like tiles instead of counters or chits. Because there's a lot, you're going to be drawing from a lot of cups. You got 4 cups you're drawing for. It's going to be a lot of, kind of the whole chip pool type thing. It's going to be a lot of counters, but he's referring to them as counters. As tiles. He uses some of that verbiage as you would use for non-war gamers. I'm assuming in the instance that they believed it may attract some non-war gamers, the subject matter, that they were using some verbiage that I just don't like, to be honest with you. But no, it is a war game. It is a war game, even when you're not at war, per se. Even when you're not on the offensive, it is a war game. You're setting it up to get through the Crusades, win the Crusades. Even though you may not be at war the whole time, a lot of it's going to be other things. But, all right, I've talked enough. Yeah, good game. Enjoyable game. I would highly recommend it. Not a perfect game, but, man, so... Came out in 2020. Yeah, this might be my favorite game I actually played from 2020 that I actually played. 2019 you had, what was that? Knights of Fire. I love that game. And 2018, I guess it was, I enjoyed another Ben Madison game, which was the White Tribe. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Probably going to play it again tonight. Kind of got to do some work right now. More out, but got to go do some things. But I'm going to try to play it again tonight, get a couple hours of sleep this afternoon, this evening, play it again tonight. So, yeah, everybody have a great day. Get some gaming on. Pick up the mission. I believe you will enjoy it. Take it easy now. Bye-bye.